You come back to your note-taking sheet, we're going to continue on by talking about our roadmap sentence. So you can continue taking notes on here, and as we discuss things, you can be thinking about how this applies to your personal research paper. So again, the roadmap sentence is going to follow the counterclaim/position statement. So you're going to have 2 total sentences by the end of your work today. You've already completed writing 1. The second one is what we call a guide through your proof. It contains each of your subtopics, or what we can call splits. Again, each one of these should be answering the question why. So if I said that the minimum wage should be raised, then each one of these subtopics should answer the question why it should be raised. So what is a plan of attack? Again, it outlines your ideas in order to plan your essay. It tells your reader what the roadmap is of your 3 subtopics. You are going to combine all 3 of these subtopics into one sentence. And again, your subtopics should be reasons why. They should not include specific examples yet. You're going to be adding a roadmap to your paper after your position statement. Remember, in the introduction, by the time we get to the end of our paper, you're going to have a hook, your position statement, your roadmap sentence, and then a transition. So this all goes into the introduction paragraph. We already wrote our position statement on our organizer. Today we're going to look at the roadmap. Here are some examples that I want you to look at, and based upon the criteria here, which criteria does any of these violate? Which might be the best roadmap sentence? So we're going to go back to our idea of the Lakers, and I want you to think about the roadmap sentence. So remember, we said the Lakers are the most entertaining and successful team in all of professional sports. So all of my roadmap subtopics should answer the question why. So let's see if these are good roadmap sentences. Examples of the Lakers' greatness include Kobe Bryant, the 2000 NBA championship, and the Staples Center. Again, if we look at this and you go back to your notes, one of the criteria says that you cannot have specific examples. And this clearly states specific examples of why. So we don't want to include that. Number 2 says the Lakers have succeeded because of their ownership, the Los Angeles fans, and their ability to attract star players. So again, here we have kind of a restatement. Why have they been successful? Because of their ownership, their fans, and their ability to attract star players. Or the Lakers moved to Los Angeles in 1975 when the city of Minneapolis no longer wanted them around. So I hope that it's pretty obvious here that number 2 would be the best example of a roadmap sentence. Again, this does not answer the question why our position. I cannot say the Lakers are the most successful team because they moved to Los Angeles in 1975 when the city of Minneapolis no longer wanted them around. First of all, that's only one reason if I was going to include it, and I need to have 3 reasons. And this is a little bit too factual, so I would like to minimize that. The roadmap is going to tell your reader your subtopics in order. So you need to kind of figure out initially, what do you think is your strongest reason why? I believe that you should put your strongest reason first, the next strongest reason last, and then the one that maybe you don't think is as strong, make that one second. That way you're starting with something strong and ending with something strong. So if you had to rate the levels of how strong each of your reasons are, I would put them in here like that. Now you can change it after a time if you need to, but try to think of right now the research that you've done so far, what might be the order. So I want us to take a look at this example. The roadmap tells your reader your subtopics in order. It's also one sentence long. Think about what are the 3 subtopics of this paper. So it says the examination of its history, its negative and positive economic benefits, and the current legal status of drilling off of the United States shores reveal the depth of the controversy. So I know that this paper is about some type of controversy about drilling for oil off the United States shore. So the 3 subtopics would be examining the history of drilling, examining the negative and positive economic effects, and the current legal status. So those are my 3 subtopics that I could follow through. When you go to set your paper up, it's kind of going to look like this. You're going to put a running header in the top, and I'll show you how to do this in a moment. And then you're going to have your MLA heading, and then a title, and then you're going to start with your counterclaim, although written by 4 different people to 4 different audiences, comma, my position statement, the New Testament Gospels are alike in their powerful message of eternal life through Jesus Christ. And then I've given my roadmap sentence. Let's look at this one as well. This goes back to our Laker example. And for right now, you can just put your topic as the title. We're obviously going to want to make a more creative title, but for right now, we're going to just, when we go to type this, we can just put our basic topic. So you're going to, again, have a running header, your MLA heading, and then you're going to start with an indentation. So you're going to push tab, and you're going to write out your counterclaim, position statement, and then your roadmap. So here we go. It says, although they have faced challenges throughout their history, comma, the Lakers are the most successful and entertaining team in all of professional sports, period. The Lakers have succeeded because of their ownership, the Los Angeles fans, and their ability to attract star players. This is what your paper is going to look like when you get done. What I'd like for you to do is go back to your organizer, and let's really consider here what we're going to write. So it says, list the 3 subtopics or arguments or ways you're going to prove your position. This will become your roadmap statement. It says, be sure that each one is parallel in its grammatical structure. So if I'm going to go back up to this idea here, I'm going to say the United States government should raise the minimum wage, and then I need to answer the question, why? Well, my first reason it should raise the minimum wage is because workers will value their jobs more. The next reason would be that it would decrease the poverty rate. Again, you're going to write these by hand. I would prefer that you do them in pencil on your paper, and you want to make sure that these are not capitalized. You're going to end up putting them into a sentence. And then my last reason, the United States government should raise the minimum wage because it will increase overall employment rates. So I should be able to go back up here and I should be able to read this sentence. The United States government should raise the minimum wage because workers will value their jobs more. The United States government should raise the minimum wage because it will decrease the poverty rate. The United States government should raise the minimum wage because it will increase overall employment rates. So again, I have these all listed here, okay? I want to make sure that these are parallel in grammar structure, so I'll show you how these end up coming together in a sentence. It says rewrite all of these 3 things in one sentence, and this becomes your roadmap sentence. So let me show you some examples. For instance, we have this one here. If you'll focus on this one. This is our example. Although raising the minimum wage may result in laying off a few people in some industries, the United States should pass legislation to set the wage higher. So I have changed some of the wording from this original look on my paper. The United States government should raise the minimum wage. I can put this in here. I could easily replace it if I wanted to. We'll just put this here. So the United States should pass legislation to set the wage higher. This could be a position statement. The United States government should raise the minimum wage. This could be my position statement as well. Either one of these works. What I'd like for you to do when this comes time to do it, I would like for you to use 2 different colors to show these items in your paper. So you'll see here I have put the counterclaim in red, and I have put my position statement in blue, and it's underlined. So either one of these, the way that I've stated them, works both ways. Again, this just has to be what I'm trying to prove. The United States should pass legislation to set the minimum wage higher, or the United States government should raise the minimum wage. Either one of those are fine for position statements because it names who should do what, and it names my topic, right? My topic is raising the minimum wage. So if I take my 3 items and I take them from my organizer and I make them into one sentence, I'm going to rewrite that sentence down here, and then I'm going to go onto my paper and type this. So raising the minimum wage would make workers value their jobs more. So I have to make this grammatically parallel. So over here, I just said workers value jobs more. Well, I need to make this parallel. So I want to change this. The minimum wage, and then I could change this verb to would make workers. So my verb is would make. So the minimum wage would make workers value their jobs more. Okay, so I want to make sure that this is all grammatically parallel because I have 3 verbs here. If I started off with workers, then I would have a noun. So I want to make sure that all 3 of these are verbs. So again, raising the minimum wage would make workers value jobs more, would decrease the poverty rate, and it would increase overall employment rates. These are 3 different verbs. So again, I'm going to combine them. In pencil, I want you to work to combine these 3 ideas into one sentence. And then you're going to type these 2 together on your research document as your first paragraph and then print it, and you're going to bring it to class for our next class period, which is Thursday. So this is what it might look like. Although raising the minimum wage may result in laying off a few people in some industries, the United States should pass legislation to set the wage higher. Raising the minimum wage would make workers value their jobs more, comma, decrease the rate of poverty, comma, and overall increase employment rates. So that is one example. Let's look at another one. This is dealing with violent media. So even though parents should be the most responsible for children's behavioral issues, comma, the government should focus on passing stricter limits on the access of violent media for children under the age of 18. So again, here's my counterclaim that I have written in red, and again, you just come up here and you change the text color to red. I have changed the position statement to blue. I have bolded it and underlined it. And then I'm going to write my roadmap sentence. Again, this is all one paragraph. Congress should pass the laws because without them, violent media causes aggression in young children, desensitizes them from the violence in the world, and instills fear into children's everyday life. So these are 3 verbs again, and if you'll notice, I have highlighted the 3 things that are parallel, whether they be 3 verbs or 3 nouns. I want you to do the same so that you can identify this. I do have an example here. This is regarding the Pledge of Allegiance. Although some Americans believe that the Pledge of Allegiance should not include the phrase "under God" because of its lack of separation between religion and government, the phrase should not be removed from the United States pledge. The Pledge of Allegiance should not be altered because it has been a representation of American freedom, an idea safely protected by laws, and one of the traditions in American government that includes the beliefs of its founders. Another test that you could do to make sure that these are parallel is to take each one of them, take the beginning part of the roadmap. So the Pledge of Allegiance should not be altered because it has been, and then a representation of American freedom, and then I go back. The Pledge of Allegiance should not be altered because it has been an idea safely protected by laws. And then I should also be able to say the Pledge of Allegiance should not be altered because it has been one of the traditions in American government that includes the beliefs of its founders. So you should be able to take the beginning of the sentence and then add each one separately, and it should make its own sentence if I were to chop it up like that. Raising the minimum wage would make workers value their jobs more. That could be a sentence. Raising the minimum wage would decrease the rate of poverty. That could be a sentence. Raising the minimum wage would increase overall employment rates. That would be a sentence. So that's a good test to see if you have parallel structure. I'm going to stop this video, and the next video I'm going to show you how to actually set up your Google Doc so that you can make sure that you are off to a great start.